paraphrase the Bible, when building a house, you must build a foundation on rock rather than shifting sand to ensure it lasts over the years. By acting with integrity in whatever you do, that solid foundation is reinforced for both your personal and your professional life. Integrity is simply obedience to the unenforceable. It is doing the right thing when no one is looking. There are too many people who think that the only thing that's right is to get by, and the only thing that's wrong is to get caught. Integrity is continuing with that same level of effort when the daily routine returns to normal. What if each one of us could feel proud of our decisions if the details of those decisions were on the evening news? What if each one of us were able to push through the 30 seconds of discomfort to explore the brutal facts, take action, and do the right thing? What if each one of us communicated clearly by speaking the truth plainly and openly? Mike Prendergast is one of those people who made a decision to tell the truth, to put fundamental long-term care's patient safety and health first, ahead of his own job security and physical well-being. He made a courageous decision, not a what-if decision, but a real decision to do the right thing. And it cost him his job, but not his reputation or his integrity. Today, the Insider Exclusive goes behind the headlines to bring you the story of a real hero, Mike Prendergast, who stood up to his bosses at Fundamental Long-Term Care when they were dead wrong, and the amazing stories of his lawyers Whitney Warner and Julie Fritsch of the law firm of Moody Warner, who stood up for him in a court of law and got him the justice he so well earned and deserved. Many violations of the law and many dangers to public health and safety go unreported because people who know about them are afraid of retaliation, as our livelihoods and often our health insurance are dependent on our jobs. The fear of losing a job is pervasive. Whenever the law provides a remedy for victims of retaliation, it encourages employees to come forward with evidence that will make our world safer, healthier, and more just. Many, if not most, of the laws that protect workers, such as anti-discrimination laws, wage and hour protections, and health and safety laws, also make it illegal for an employer to retaliate against someone who engages in conduct which the law protects. Mike Prendergast practiced what his former employer, Fundamental, only preached. Mike Prendergast taught Fundamental how to walk their own talk. There is an old French proverb: there is no pillow so soft as a clear conscience. Remember, if you have integrity, nothing else matters. And if you don't have integrity, nothing else matters. Hi, I'm Steve Murphy, and this is the Insider Exclusive, live from Albuquerque, New Mexico, at the law firm of Moody and Warner. It is my great pleasure to introduce Julie Fritsch and Whitney Warner to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your law firm. You're an employment lawyers, aren't you?
Correct.
What do you do primarily?
The whole firm only does employment and labor law, and we represent both employees as well as employers. And we do discrimination, harassment, retaliation, whistleblower cases, wage and hour, most things that would affect the workplace.
You have the added benefit experience where you actually were working in the business world in human resources, weren't you?
Right.
So you get to see what it was like from the company's point of view, too.
Definitely. Working in human resources gave me, I think, an excellent perspective on these kind of cases.
We have a case today, which is Prendergast versus long-term care, fundamental long-term care. Tell us a little bit about this case. You know, what does our audience need to know to understand the uniqueness and what happened to Mike Prendergast?
Well, Mike Prendergast was a maintenance employee. Fundamental Long-Term Care is a national corporation that has nursing homes as well as other types of healthcare facilities. And he was hired as the maintenance person for a particular facility in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he came in and was expected to keep things up to code and make repairs. and he found the conditions of the home that he was in to be despicable. It was in very poor repair. He found all kinds of conditions that he...
From my understanding, he found toxic mold in corners of the building that needed to be taken out and replaced, right?
He found mold in one of the shower rooms that he was asked to remodel, and it was fairly extensive. And he felt that an abatement team was necessary for that, and when he ran that up to his boss, the administrator of the facility, she was with him, and they needed to call the corporate person to get approval to spend the money to fix it, get a team in there.
Right.
That person's first response on a telephone call to the administrator was, get up, lock the door to your office, and make sure that no one comes in. Then he said, no one is to know about this.
And who are these people when you're saying, because we're going to introduce some people like Donna Felton is one, Lanny Dosher, Jaime.
And Duho.
Yeah. So tell us who these people are that are telling to say this.
Yeah. The administrator, who was essentially on Mike's side, was Donna Felton.
Right.
And the person on the phone for this particular call was Lanny Dosher. He was a regional corporate employee.
And he's saying basically, we don't want anybody to know what's going on because we don't want to spend the money, correct?
Right.
I understand he also said words like, eventually, because Mike continued to seek changes, improvements to benefit the patient's health and as well as his own, that he was described as a loose cannon. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead.
Mike frequently, during the course of his approximately 9-month employment, brought up numerous issues with the facility. There was a sewer backup in the kitchen where food was being prepared that was exacerbated by aging pipes. There were continuous problems with the fire alarm system. Clearly, when you have elderly residents, they're going to have difficulty getting out of a building quickly.
Yeah.
So the fire alarm was...
The fire alarm was kind of interesting to me because the health department, or the fire department, came in and cited this facility to correct it.
The facility had been cited in prior years, and Donna Felton, the administrator, was new to the facility at the time that they came back to do their check the year that Mike was there. They came in and actually threatened to arrest her because the fire system had not been replaced, and it was too old to make the needed repairs. You couldn't get parts for it anymore. And she pleaded with them not to arrest her, that she hadn't known about the condition in the prior citations. And essentially they said, if you can get approval from your corporate people and can, tell us that it's going to be replaced, we'll agree that we won't arrest you. She called Lanny Dosher, told Lanny the situation. He said, you have approval to tell them that it'll be replaced. She told them that. They left. The next day, Lanny Dosher called her back and said, you're not doing it. Don't replace it.
How much money was involved here in replacing the fire alarm?
I think it was a few $1,000s, maybe maybe $10,000. It wasn't a cheap repair, but it's the fire system for a nursing home. It's the alarm system to let people know that they need to get out of the building.
Sure, the building's burning down.
Yes.
Now, Mike was eventually fired because I understand during a health inspector visit, he reported that certain things weren't being done, correct? That was in the report.
That's right.
By the way, Lanny Dosher or some of these other people that you mentioned who contradicted Donna Felton, told her to do one thing and then changed her mind, are they still there?
Lanny Dosher, actually, I don't think either one of them is still there. I think
But they weren't fired.
Oh, no.
Lanny Dosher, no,
Yeah.
was not fired, no.
Right.
No. No, they weren't fired, and it seems that they were rewarded within the company. They got their bonuses were driven by the individual facilities' performance.
Yeah.
Financial performance specifically.
Now, as a result of taking this case on, you learned something else about Fundamental, didn't you? It just wasn't one nursing home here in Albuquerque. It was a conglomerate, right?
Exactly. They have over 100 nursing homes across the country. And the way that they had structured the corporation was so that each one of those nursing homes was a separate legal entity. And then in each state, they had a legal entity that held all the homes, and then there were additional entities that held each states. There were management entities that were part of another legal corporate entity, and all of it funneled up to the top to an entity called Fundamental Long-Term Care Holding.
What was your legal strategy in getting this case resolved?
One of the key pieces of the legal strategy was to find liability against all of the levels of the corporation, because we are aware that one of the things that they do in nursing home negligence cases is try very hard to keep all those corporate entities separate, and then if and when there's an adverse verdict, they tell the family of the usually deceased person, well, this entity doesn't have any money, this nursing home can't pay the judgment.
Right.
Meanwhile, the money's just moving around and going up the chain. And we really wanted to show this company is all these entities are all part of the same thing. This is an integrated enterprise. And you've had enough of shuffling the money around, and we're going to expose it for what it is, which is one big company.
And how did you show this, let's say, cooperation between